Welcome back to another edition of the B4evaKool podcast. My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ with Two Wheels and Coffee.
What's going on, man? How you doing this week?
Everything's good, man. A little tired this morning. Been after, going to the track, just been working a lot. So getting ready for some more racing. Don't stop here. So I'm excited still.
It doesn't,
The classic was a ball.
right?
So
It doesn't seem like it stops anywhere racing that's going on. World SuperBike is happening while MotoGP is taking a break. But let's keep it local for now. Let's talk about the classic. And what was that like, man? How was the weekend? How was, what was it like being at the classic, the 101 running of the Loudon Classic?
it was actually pretty good. Like just seeing all these professional riders and local riders, it's a good sight to see. Just people who can run just a super fast pace. Overall, like around the area, like it was bike week, so they had tents up for Indian, Harley, Yamaha, all types of bikes that we could test ride. Vendors. So it was a pretty good time. Brought a lot of people. That was like the qualifying and stuff. The race day was really good. There was a delay.
Right.
Last year, if all you know that this classic was just a downpour, there was no chance of a delay for dry weather. So this year, there was a couple rain clouds, and it came down and got the track wet. I mean, like maybe like 5 minutes before third call for the classic race. So they delayed it, and it was about to restart again, and it came down again. It was like almost an hour to almost an hour and a half delay.
Wow.
But it was a great turnout. I mean, coming from last year with 11 restarts and multiple red flags to this year just being 25 clean laps. I don't think I saw a yellow flag, or there was definitely no red flags.
Man, where did you watch the race from, first of all?
I watched it from the grandstand, so like right at turn one.
Got you.
On the outside, so
you could see most of the track
coming out full speed. Yeah, so if you walk up a little higher, you can see them all the way going down into the bowl, which is pretty cool. But yeah, there are 32 riders out there.
Now who impressed you the most?
It's hard to say, but for the rider Stefano Mesa, just the way he drifts into turn three. Just I saw his little clip video that he had, and like he was literally drifting, and I saw him last year. I met him in person for the first time, and this year watching him go into turn one. It's interesting to see different type of lines that these riders take, and no one is pretty similar, but their riding style going into turn one is pretty cool. But there's a lot of riders that impressed me. Like Eli Block, Eric Wood, and the locals that we see just competing against the pros.
Yeah, I looked at the qualifying times. 109. Man, that's a very fast time to go around Loudon.
Yeah, I mean, you can say that time to anybody, but until you experience riding on the track or getting a timer in a race,
yeah,
and comparing yourself to that time, I guess you can be wild. So, I mean, 109 is now the track record.
Yeah,
as I understand.
Yeah, it's pretty.
I don't know if it's a race record, but it's one of the records. But
yeah, I'm not quite sure either. But it was interesting to see that the first. I mean, granted, they are pro riders, but the first 4 spots were all Jixes. You must have been happy to see that.
Yeah, I've been riding Suzuki for a while. Got into Yamaha, but yeah, those 750s, man, they were doing the thing at we're good on corners. The Suzuki is good on cornering. We all know that, especially in GP. So.
Right. Yeah, I know for sure. It makes me, it makes me wonder. Do you, in my case, I guess, right? You look at the Ducati V2s. And then you go look at the Jixas, and even in Motor America right now, right? It's really hard to be saying, okay, I'm going to spend 22 grand on a V2 and spend another 20 plus grand to get it race ready. When you can, go out there and spend 14 grand on a Jigsaw. And I don't know what they have to do to detune those Jixas to run in as far as cost wise. I know the Ducatis are very expensive to do. But as far as to detune them to run in the middleweight class, but I'm pretty sure it's a lot less money.
Oh yeah, I can for sure that. But yeah, Jixers always get their hate since I started riding. So it's good to see them, not just one, not just two, but three and so on.
Right.
There's a lot of Suzuki's that was in this. Couple couple Kawasaki's, I think one Triumph, which is in, and a lot of Ducatis as well. No Hondas.
Nice. I will have to say this is even though it's just the second season of second year of running, having the purse. Obviously, the classic has been running for over 101 years now, but having that purse, it is cool to see a lot of the local guys get their taste of. I mean, this is the biggest stage for some of them now. Not to say in their whole life, but for the most part, Loudon is a track where it's local. It's kind of not out of the way like Alaska is, but we're definitely one of the furthest tracks up north on the East Coast that you can get to. So for those guys to be out here running with the pros and stuff like that, did you get a chance to talk to any of those guys and hear their thoughts on how they did the weekend and how they felt?
No, I didn't really get up in personal to talk. I was always walking around the paddock, more talking to the club racer guys and stuff like that, and getting around, like just talking to Jim and talking to a couple of my buddies. But no, I didn't get a chance to talk to any of the actual professional racers. But
no, I was talking about the club riders. I was talking about the club riders that how are they feeling, because this is their biggest stage, right?
Oh yeah, so one of my friends, Brian, qualified for the classic, and not to say that he was shocked, but he just recently bought a Ducati A48, and he's putting down 14s now. So he qualified for the classic. I believe Kyle Thompson also qualified. It's his first time, and their experience. So they told me they were just super excited and amazing, and just actually talked to Brian leading up to his race. I was like, how much time you got left? He was like, about 20, 30 minutes. I'm like, how you feeling? I mean, he was, how we all feel, the excitement and nervousness. And, you can tell that he was just trying to get it off his mind a little bit by just riding around watching stuff. So,
yeah,
but
I can imagine. I can imagine a little bit. I haven't, the closest thing I think was running at Daytona, not the 200, but trying to, fight for a regional title. It's a little different feeling like before the race start and stuff like that, because of just really what you put yourself through internally. Obviously, when you think about it, it's all internal, but it's all your thoughts and what can go right, what can go wrong, and all that stuff. But amazingly, once the red light goes out, all that goes away. But nonetheless, those for that half hour ish before the race, it's nice to have a routine, because at least that way, you can always lean on the routine and not necessarily get lost in your thoughts. But yeah, no, that's what's up, man. It's pretty cool that this happened, and to happen with I think maybe just one yellow flag versus last year when there were so many red flags, which leads to hopefully it'll be back next year, and hopefully even a bigger crowd.
yeah, and then shout out to Hayden Gillum for taking the number one spot, winning the race. And watching that race, he wasn't in first place. Like Tyler Scott was leading the race for 20 laps.
Wow.
Out of 20. And I don't know what happened. Something between turn 4 and turn 10. But Hayden Gillum was able to squeak by and then never look back. And basically he's saying Tyler Scott was losing grip. Bobby Fong rode hell of a race, and then I like watching him on Moto America. So
Right.
it's cool to see those guys riding. So yeah, Hayden Gillum, Tyler Scott, Bobby Fong, Stefano Mesa, and Teague Hobbs, a local, all top five.
Yeah, pretty dope, man. Pretty dope. From one of the oldest racing series in the U.S. to go into one of the first series in the world racing series as far as World Superbike. The World WCR starts this weekend. It looks like there are about at least 20 female riders, if I can do my math correctly. Uh, what do you think about that, man? I'm looking forward to watching practice and qualifying, and I'm looking forward to watching the race. We know from the series in Motor America with Kayla. We've seen other. Her last name is Moore. She rode in the Cup Series the last round, but she was right in the Hooligan Series. I want to say her first name is Mandy, but I don't think so. They've been running with the guys forever, right? So now to have their own series and kicking off on the world stage. And like I said, it's about 20 something riders, man. It's a good amount of female riders from, US, one, I believe one from the US, a few from Spain, France, Germany, South Africa. I'm looking forward to the series. What do you think about it?
I'm looking forward. I'm looking forward to the series as well. Like it's all excuse me, it's all new, all female riders. So like I'm sure the competition, their mindset is a lot different. Well, I can't say it's different because they're competitive, but
Right. Well, they've been running with guys until this point. So you know what I'm saying. So it can't be too far off from the guys running. At the moment because like I said, they've only been used to being only one or two females on the grid, and now you see that there's like 24 of them. So it in that regards, I think they're going to be very hungry, and I don't think much is going to change. I don't think riding styles. It's not. I wouldn't say it's like the NBA versus the WNBA because up until this point and in other classes around the world, we still have women racing with guys. So I don't think it'll be too different, but I'm looking forward to it, and I can't wait to report on it. This is exciting. I think this is exciting for folks in every country that wants to get to the world stage that might have wanted to get to World Superbike. Now they have an avenue to get there. I assume this series is only going to get bigger, and you might even see them, jumping on either super sport bikes in another class, and then maybe even up to super bikes because Kayla is 16 here, and she's racing a V2 in Motor America, and that bike is at least 150 plus horsepower, depending on how they tuned it after the fact. So who knows where it goes from here, but I'm very excited about watching the series this weekend.
can you remind me again what type of bikes they're running? I forgot.
They're running the Yamaha R7, so they're all on the same bike.
That's right, all on the same bike. Not to be biased or anything, but we all know Mallory Dobbs, so I want to see how she would do out here. So we rooting for her to start. But I can't wait to see like the competition level with having more because like this sport is very open, saturated. Under the helmet, you don't really know the person. So unless you know the person,
Right.
so it's like it's not like a girl and boy sport. But it's good to see like with the females that are in it, it's so saturated that you don't really they're in there. You just don't notice them with a group of guys. So just to see a whole group of girls running, it's will bring more attention, I think, and it's just I can't wait to see.
Yeah, I think so, and I definitely think it's going to bring more attention. I mean, I think it's just like I said. I think it's going to be just as fun because they've already been riding like guys because that they can only ride around guys and beating guys. So it's not it's not a question of I don't think it's a question of sex when it comes down to male or female. It just comes down to your skill set at the end of the day. And we're seeing that, like I said, where Anna Carrasco winning the 300 Super Sport back in 2018. Like I said, we see what Kayla's doing, and other women all around the world. And you got folks from Japan. It's gonna be I'm looking forward to it. Like I said, because there are a lot of female riders that are on this list that I didn't know about. Right, I might have knew about 4 or 5 of them. And so, for folks like myself and others, now we get to root for more writers, and just get to know them, because there's always, every writer has their own story, and it's always cool to see people succeed and do well and thrive at their sport. And some of these ladies are they're a little bit older, and so for them, to go back to the local guys at the Classic, who I don't know if they've ridden pro or not or anything like that. For some of these ladies, they might have been racing in their country, at whatever level, but now they're on the world stage level, and so that's pretty dope to see.
You know what I'm excited to see, actually?
What's that?
Seeing all these ladies ride and comparing to, like, like Pecco or Mark Marquez stuff each other in the corner, or dive bomb. Like, I want to see that type of action. Like, oh, like Valerie Dobbs, like, just took their,
Right.
some race action the ladies. So,
and that's the thing, we are going to see that, because that's how they
Oh,
had to have ridden if they were competing at the highest level, not currently. So you know what I mean. That's the whole thing. I don't think I'm gonna be shocked by anything. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, they've already been doing it. So I think just for them to have their own series, because it's harder. It's hard for anyone to get on a world stage, right? And as we can see, when you look at the world stage, so it's very difficult. So for them to have their own league, where at the moment, there's, like I said, there's looks like there's 24 people on the grid. I mean, that can go up to 32, and who knows, they could add a second class, a bigger class or a smaller class. Who knows? And this thing could be a beautiful thing in a few years. So very excited for that. Excited that World SuperBike is back in general. The BMWs seem to look pretty good, or Top Rock on the BMW looks good. The Ducatis have been quiet. Alvaro Batista hasn't signed a contract yet. Any favorites this weekend coming out of World Superbike?
Zilly, like you said, the BMW looks good, and I don't know if this new rules that's been into play. We're only on like round 3, I think, of World Superbike.
I think so. I'd have to look at the calendar.
They had like 2 months off. It was crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm rooting for the BMWs because, like I said, I like Garrett Gerloff. I want to see him improve, especially having Toprak as a teammate. So far, Toprak has shown that he can ride that BMW. Albert Bautista is a defending champ, 2-time champ, I believe. So,
yep.
He hasn't had, like you said, doesn't have a contract yet. It's going to be tough for him. I think he's in a good spot right now, but I'm sure that he'll figure it out. But I'm rooting for the BMW. I want to see something different. Ducati, I'm not hating on Ducati, but in every series, they've been just running everything.
Well, in every series they have. I'm curious to see what Annoni does. I mean, he's had a couple of crashes. I know he's trying to get a better seat for next season. So I think he is going to come out with something to prove. I think a lot of these guys have to. I think Sam Lowe's, Alex Lowe's, these guys got to come back out. Jonathan Ray, he was just starting to feel good on the Yamaha. So I think it's going to be a fun weekend to watch. And I don't want to sit here and say the BMW has it, but Top Rock and Alvaro was in pretty good form before their break, and so though they seem to be the favorite, but there's some other guys that are going to have to shine through a little bit this weekend.
Daniel Petrucci is back as well. He was injured, so hopefully, he might be a little rusty, but hopefully he comes back strong. So that's good for the World Superbike as well.
Yeah.
Can't.
Go ahead.
No, I was gonna say, can't wait to see the first results. For the Super.
Almost a day away. Yeah. So Petrucci getting hurt, that was tough. It was tough for him probably to see his replacement rider win one of the races over in Assen. So that might have been a very, very tough to see. But I'm glad to see him back. I am rooting for him as well. It's always tough coming back after a crash, and especially he got jacked up pretty good. But he's been traveling and doing some testing, so hopefully he's in good form because there's only so many rounds left. There's not a lot of rounds like in MotoGP, so you don't really get too many chances to mess it up.
The only thing is like your weekend's much longer, so they got 3 races instead of 2.
Yeah.
But less. I mean, yeah. So less race weekends, but more races during the week. So if you don't have it that weekend, that's a lot.
Right. Yeah. It's hard to
Hard
go down three a weekend and not score any points for sure. Speaking of scoring points, MotoGP, we see that Anea Bastianini and Maverick Vinales is going to Tech 3 KTM.
What do you think about that? Maverick Vinales, man, Tech 3 KTM.
That I don't understand.
I don't either.
I mean, I can see obviously Bastianini had nowhere to go. Not to say nowhere to go, but he lost his seat, so he had to go to either Aprilia or KTM. But for Maverick leaving Aprilia, you know what I mean? And Aprilia wanted him to stay, and they were waiting for him to make a decision, and so that to me I'm curious why, because the bike looked pretty good. It was inconsistent, and as far as mechanical, from what I can tell, but for the most part, it's the most competitive bike. One could even argue might be a little bit more competitive than the KTM. Even though Pedro has been able to make that KTM do wonders. So for Maverick, I'm not quite sure why he left. Hopefully it'll come out more. He seemed to be overall happy. I didn't, you know what I mean? So I don't know if it's a money thing. I don't know, you know what I mean? It'll be curious to see, hopefully if we get to find out why. In Bastianini's case, did he know Maverick was leaving? And signed to Gas, or maybe he didn't know Maverick was leaving and signed to Gas, and then found out. You know what I mean? Because Gas is a factory team, factory bike, but it's not. It's fairness to say it's a factory team. But KTM, when you look at the KTM orange and blue, that's factory, right? And so I would assume that Bastianini would have wanted to be on a factory bike with Aprilia. Versus Gas. But that team, those two guys, I mean, they have a lot. Well, I don't want to say Maverick has a lot to prove, but Bastianini, I think, have more to prove. But I didn't think that Maverick was going to leave Aprilia, so I'm a little bit shocked by that.
Yeah, I honestly thought that he would stay, especially when Martin was there. I mean, hopefully it's nothing against Martin now. Like, like, all right, I don't want to be his teammate. Hopefully that's nothing to do with it. I know that, I mean, the season's still going on, but Maverick has had a few issues with Aprilia with like mechanical. He has one with 3 manufacturers already.
Yes.
Is that correct? So maybe he wants to win with a 4th. No idea. But I'm interested to see why he would want to go to KTM. I just don't know. But Bastianini, I feel like now he just had to, since he lost a spot, he's worried, probably just need to jump on something. And there's something that they know that we don't.
Right.
I'm curious to see where like Jack Miller is going to sit, because the KTM spots are filled up.
Right. I mean, there are rumors saying KTM may add another team, but there's still rumors on that. And yeah, I don't know where Jack is going to go. We still waiting for the second. Well, Fermi Aldeguer is signed to Ducati, but we don't know if he's going to be Pramac or Rossi's team or Grassini's team. So that's still up in the air, and we don't know where Morbidelli's going. He's riding good enough that I think he can save his seat. And we don't know what Pramac is going to do either. They say they want to stay with Ducati, so I assume they're going to stay with Ducati. But the market's still, these riders that are not signed yet, it's still crazy, man.
shaky. Here we were a few weeks ago, months ago, talking about, oh, there's like 3 spots. There's no one gonna move. I don't know what's gonna happen. Like the shakeup has
Right.
happened. A lot
Yeah.
is going on right now.
You're right. Yeah. So Miller, where could Miller go? I don't know if Miller could get that. Like, could Miller get a factory seat somewhere else? Maybe Honda
And
if
say Honda's with Luca.
if Mir wants to. No, Luca's 2-year deal. So if Mir leaves Honda, then Miller could go to Honda. That's where he started. He does like the KTM team, so I think he'd rather stay there. I don't see Aprilia signing Miller to a factory seat, right? And so, okay, so then who's left? There's Morbidelli that could probably go to a factory seat. There is Bezecchi that can probably go to a factory seat, although he's not riding like one. Gian Antonio's riding better than him right now. Uh, I don't think Raul's ready for a factory seat yet.
No.
And Miguel is not riding up to par. So you got, there's Joe Roberts, but Joe Roberts I think they would want him to go to an American team, not the factory Aprilia. But either way, to have an American in GP on a satellite or a factory team would be awesome. But I mean, I don't think you'd promote. You'd promote. I wouldn't promote Miguel or Raul to the factory team. Not today. You know what I'm saying? If they have 4 good weekends coming up, then sure. But that would be hard to see. So, yeah, I don't know. It's definitely, maybe Mir can go to Aprilia. I mean, that is an option. I could see Mir going to the factory seat to Aprilia.
I think if Mir doesn't get a factory seat, because I don't think he wants to stay at 100 this year. So if he doesn't get a factory seat, rumors were saying that he might call it quits.
I heard that as well.
Like, go on vacation with his family and spend time. So,
right.
And who knows? Like that, I think the decision kind of is waiting up on him in my eyes. Because if he decides not to run, then someone can take that factory seat along with Luca Marini,
right?
And that would change some things up. So I think Miguel, I don't know. One of the two is going to be gone, I'm sure. I can't see that Miguel and Raul stay on Trackhouse for the next year. So it'd be interesting to see. But I don't think that decision will be made until there's a Honda decision, most likely.
Probably.
Yeah. Left.
And whoever else gets the second Aprilia seat. So yeah, it's
the seat.
Say again.
Who do you think's getting the Yamaha? Sorry to catch you off, but who, like with Fabio? Like I'm trying to.
Oh, I think Rins is riding well enough that he'll probably get it. He's riding well enough. I mean, so and he's a good rider, and he's also won on 2 other manufacturers. So I think he's gonna. I think as the season goes on, he's gonna do well. So I think Rins will probably seat will be safe there because I can't see Morbidelli going back to Yamaha, and I can't see Mir going to Yamaha. I think Mir wants a situation where he can at least be in the top 8 consistently, top 10 consistently. I think he'd want to be on a bike like that. So I think Yamaha will. I think Rins will stay there. But it'd be interesting to see where one of the Grassini seats are open. 2 of the both 46 seats are open right now. One of Pramac. I say as I'm sitting here saying all this, I wonder if Ducati would have made different decision, what it would look like, and we won't know until the end of 2025, and we'll know. But we'll have a better idea in 2025 if they made the right decision in all this. But it's still going to be an interesting few rounds as MotoGP sets to come back at the end of the month.
Yeah, I still Ducati. They got the best riders anyway. The duo Marc Marquez and Pecco. So, I think they made the right decision, but we'll see. Yeah. I mean, like you said, if Martin don't win a championship this year,
then what?
Then And yeah, I mean, they should want him to win the championship, but we'll see.
Yeah, we definitely will see.
To keep their resume up but they know way more than we do. I wish they give us the information. You know, they keeping us out a little bit, so we gotta dig to find out some of the insides. But
Gives us something to talk about, man. It's all good. It's motorcycle racing at its finest. I want to thank you for coming on. Let's shout out the sponsors.
yeah, Hideaway RV Rentals, Woodcraft Technologies, J&G Performance, and Official Vortex, my supporters. Thank you very much.
No doubt. I want to thank everybody for subscribing. Continue to like and comment. We appreciate it. Our numbers are growing up. I'm loving it. Shout out to Workbench Technology. Go to Workbench Tech for IT needs. Go to hyboston.com to get your latest HY gear. And don't forget to like and subscribe. My name is Rex45.
My name is TJ with 2 Wheels and Coffee.
Peace.